Hello, I'm Srijana. When a deadly enemy is at your doorstep, destiny offers you a choice. How can lessons from the Bhagavad Gita offer us a new perspective and guidance today? The Bhagavad Gita is part of a huge epic, the Mahabharata, about life, death, and ascension that's over 5,000 years old. A classic root of Hindu philosophy, everything is symbolic. So if we open our eyes and ears, we just might discover that it's directly relevant to our lives today. The Gita outlines how to live in balance with the eternal laws of nature and how to ascend to higher levels of living and happiness. With each chapter, the Gita guidance is more refined and specific. Just enjoy and listen with an open mind as if you would hear a story. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, gods ruled the earth, and all learning took place in the form of stories and sacred verses that people remembered and passed down with each generation. The warrior prince Arjuna and his chariot driver, the god Krishna, gaze over a vast battlefield where Arjuna and his brothers must kill half of his family lineage. He is horrified and refuses to fight. Krishna explains the secrets of higher knowledge and tells him how to fight a righteous battle from a higher awareness in which he is assured to win. He'll actually bring benefit to his family and incur no sin or karma for himself. Ultimately, Arjuna accepts his destiny to fight this war. He and his brothers win and finally ascend to the heavenly realms. Arjuna is asking God Krishna some very tough questions. He asks, what is the highest reality? What is the soul? What is karma? What is God? Who rules the physical realm? Who rules the celestial realm? And most importantly, he asks, how can one be assured to go to the Supreme God at the time of death? Krishna answers all these questions, revealing the secrets to the most direct path to freedom from the cycle of death and rebirth. He says, the supreme indestructible God just is. And that supreme God has an ever-changing form that can be seen in the physical manifestation. One's own self is the individual soul. Karma is the actions we do in the physical world and their effects. Hinduism has lots of gods, and they have a hierarchy. Krishna says, don't worry so much about the celestial gods because they're not the supreme God. They are subject to life and death. He says, just go to the top God. If you're thinking about the supreme God at the moment of death, you'll go right to that. Therefore, during your life and every day, it's a very good idea to develop a habit of thinking about God all the time, because God is the omniscient controller, more subtle than the smallest atom who supports all, yet is inconceivable to the mind. God shines brighter than the sun and dissolves all ignorance. Krishna repeats the meditation lesson from the last chapter, saying you should practice yoga. Learn to control all the body functions. Draw the life breath into the center of your head and remember the divine. So, when you die, you're ready. You think about God and chant the syllable Om to merge with God. Once you attain this goal, you will never again be born into the physical world, which is full of impermanence and pain. Krishna describes universal time measured in yugas, in what NASA calls the precession cycle of 25,000 years. Even beyond that, in Vedic astrology, the universe has larger days and nights in an eternal cycle of billions of years. During the day of Brahma, living beings exist. Then they dissolve at the night of equal length, and when the next day comes, they all miraculously reappear in physical form. That's why he encourages you to focus on loving God, because then you can be free of all this physical suffering and karmic complexity. The God Krishna also describes how to die. He says, if you live in the light, you'll die in the light and you'll be free. If you live in darkness, ignorance, or attachment to the world, the world that you see and hear, then you will live and die in the dark, which means you will be reborn again and again. These two paths of light and dark always exist. But yogis who know the secret are lucky in life and lucky in death. They don't worry about rituals, elaborate mantras, books, austerities, or expensive offerings. They just go right to the top and send love to the Supreme God all the time. This is the direct path. So for Arjuna, who is now pondering whether or not he should kill his family in a terrible war, Krishna says, do your duty as a warrior. Fight the righteous battle. With your mind surrendered to me, then you will win a glorious victory with no bad karma. As you listen to the verses in chapter 8, I invite you to ponder these questions. What does Krishna say is the secret path to freedom from the cycle of death and rebirth? What is the yogic meditation practice that leads to freedom? What do you do at the moment of death to merge directly into God? How can you practice this during your life so you remember at the moment of death? What are your favorite quotes from this chapter to remember for life lessons? What parallel events in the modern world illustrate these concepts? Now, I will try to read the verses to chapter 8. Arjuna said, O Supreme Lord, what is the absolute reality or Brahman? What is the individual soul? What is karma? What is your supreme divine nature? Who rules physical manifestation? Who rules over the celestial gods? Who is the ruler of all offerings? O Krishna, slayer of the demon, how can one of steadfast mind find you at the moment of death? The blessed Lord said, the supreme, indestructible God is called Brahman. One's own self is the individual soul. Karma is actions pertaining to physical life and its effects, actions that bear fruit. O best of the embodied souls, the physical manifestation that is constantly changing is called the universal form of God. That which rules over the celestial gods in this realm is called Adhidaiva. I, who dwell in the heart of every living being, am the Lord of all sacrifices. Those who leave the body while remembering me at the moment of death will come to me. There is certainly no doubt about this. Whatever one remembers upon giving up the body at the time of death, O son of Kunti, one attains that state, being always absorbed in such contemplation. Therefore, always remember me while you perform your duty as a warrior. With mind and intellect surrendered to me, you will definitely attain me. Of this there is no doubt. With practice, O Parth, when you constantly engage the mind in remembering me, the Supreme Divine Personality, without deviating, you will certainly attain me. God, the ancient poet-controller, is more subtle than the smallest atom. God is omniscient in the support of all, yet inconceivable in divine form. God shines brighter than the sun and far beyond the darkness of ignorance. One who at the time of death remembers with great devotion, united through the practice of yoga, who fixes the life force between the eyebrows and steadily remembers the Divine One, certainly attains him. Vedic scholars call him imperishable. Yogis practice non-attachment, celibacy, and renounce worldly pleasures to enter into him. I shall now explain to you briefly the path to that goal. Restraining all the gates of the body and fixing the mind in the heart region, and then drawing the life breath into the head, one should establish steadfast yogic concentration. One who departs from the body while remembering me, the Supreme God, and chanting the syllable Om, will attain the supreme goal. O Parth, for those yogis who always think of me with exclusive devotion, I am easily attainable because of their constant absorption in me. Having attained me, the great souls are no more subject to rebirth in this world, which is impermanent, ever-changing, and full of misery, because they have attained the highest perfection. Up to the highest abode of God, Brahma, all the world's beings are subject to rebirth, O Arjun. But on attaining my abode, O son of Kunti, there is never again rebirth. One great day of Brahma, Kalp, measures 1,000 cycles of the 4 ages, Mahayuga, and one night also lasts the same span of time. Wise people who know this understand the reality of day and night. At the beginning of the great day of Brahma, all living beings emanate from the eternal source. And at the fall of the same night, all embodied beings merge again back into their unmanifest source. The multitude of beings repeatedly take birth with the advent of Brahma's cosmic day and are helplessly dissolved into the cosmic night only to manifest again automatically on the following cosmic day. Above this creation of being and dissolving exists yet another eternal dimension. That realm does not cease. It is never annihilated even when all others cease to be. That highest unmanifest dimension is the supreme goal, and upon reaching it, one never returns to this mortal world. That is my supreme abode. The supreme divine God is greater than all that exists. Although that one is all-pervading, and all living beings live within him, that one can be known only through devotion. I shall now describe to you the different ways of passing away from this world, O best of Bharatas, one of which leads to liberation, and the other leads to rebirth. Those who know the Supreme Brahman and who depart from this world during the time of light attain the supreme destination. This is during the 6 months of the sun's northern course, the bright fortnight of the waxing moon, and the bright daylight. These attain the supreme destination. The practitioners of Vedic rituals who leave the body during the dark times attain the celestial abodes. After enjoying heavenly pleasures, they again return to the earth. They are those who depart in the 6 months of the sun's southerly course, the dark fortnight of the waning moon, the time of smoke, and the nighttime. These 2 paths of light and dark always exist in this world. The way of light and fire leads to liberation, and the way of darkness leads to rebirth. Yogis who know the secret of these 2 paths, O Parth, are never bewildered. Therefore, at all times, be established in yogic union with God. The yogis who know this secret gain benefits far greater than the fruits of Vedic rituals, the study of the scriptures, offering of sacrifices, renouncing austerities, and giving charities. Such yogis reach the supreme abode.